Which pets are good with kids?
Which pets are good with kids? I don't know. Depends. Are they good kids or bad kids?
Most kids are terrible.
Which pets are good with kids? I don't know. Ones that don't bite, but all pets, anything with teeth bites.
Yeah.
So it depends. What do you consider a kid? Less than 5, less than 10, less than 15?
Yeah, any more these days, I'd say kind of less than 10, but also less than 26. Like, it just depends, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I really think kids and pets are a tough mix. It is a tough mix. There has to be an adult involved. I don't care what the pet is, a fish, a gerbil, a hamster, a dog, a cat, a goat, a horse, a pig. It doesn't matter to me. There's got to be some adult involved because I don't think kids really understand the danger that they are in when they're around animals, that they can be hurt or hurt the animals accidentally. Animals can hurt you accidentally. You can hurt an animal accidentally. You know, people hurt their animals accidentally all the time. So what pets are good with kids? I would say pets that don't die easily. That's something that you can kind of lean on.
Yeah.
Something that's not going to die very easily. So anything really small, it's probably not great for a kid because they're going to accidentally kill it. And something that lives a long time, maybe not for a kid. So like we talked about before, rats as a first pet, they're easy to take care of. They live a relatively long to short period of time. You know, maybe what did we say? Like 8 years or something like that for a rat. So I think those are pretty good pets. And then I like dogs and cats for a kid. If they have people in their lives that have experience with dogs and cats, help them take care of it. I don't know. What do you think?
I think I was visiting, we talked about Ricky before, who has a ton of betta fish, and they have 2 cats and a dog and an apartment, and they do a really good job of exercising their pets. They have a really good pet life. It's kind of a jungle in their place. A lot of plants too that are healthy for pets. So it's just definitely like a jungle vibe when you visit. Cool. And he was telling me this story. I'm going to butcher his story because I'm not him, but it was about a 1.5-year-old. And the 1.5-year-old was like a family friend child. And the child was in their home with their 2 cats and a dog. And their 2 cats and dog have an interesting dynamic. The one cat and dog like play fighting all the time. And then the other cat, who kind of runs the household, doesn't like any of it, but loves humans. Anyways, it was fascinating because this 1.5-year-old, he said, had a dog and a cat in this baby's home. And even though the baby couldn't verbally communicate with humans, even though like there wasn't that, the baby knew animals. And when when one of the cats was coming in, kind of getting in his face, or the dog, the baby just kind of went, ugh, like that. Like the baby was comfortable with the animals, knew the animals, kind of knew what to do with them. And it's like it was intuitive because it was a thing where if you, I guess what I'm trying to say is, which pets are good with kids? To me, the answer is take the risk, raise your baby with, a cat or a dog or both. And then when they get at a certain age, and even at 1.5, you start to see some behaviors where they're comfortable around animals. When I was a young child, we had a dog. It's interesting you talk about pets dying. Our dog got really sick pretty early on and had to be put down. And I'm sitting here in like 2nd grade learning about pet death for my first time. And that was like a really good life lesson, because then a couple of years after that, my grandmother and my grandfather died within 6 months of each other. And it's like, I know a pet's not the same, but at least I'd gone through that before.
No, it's good. It's like that Louis C.K. joke. It's practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dead dog is practice for grandma.
I mean, it's a sick joke, but it's sick. It's funny because it's very true. That was
I've seen using pets as a microcosm for life in general makes sense. It is a living thing, and I think plants as much. People disregard plants, but I don't. I think plants are alive and they need food and water and care, and they need sunlight, and they need to be appreciated. And also, is it ethical to keep plants? Is a conversation. Would a tree rather be in the park than in my, plants that are in my little patio here? Would they rather be out in the park or in the jungle?
Is it ethical to be a human in 2022? I think it's kind of tricky.
Not.
It's probably
Is it ethical
not.
Yeah, man.
Where did my t-shirt come from? Right, it's probably not ethical, you know? So, right. Yeah.
Whoever you're listening to this podcast probably has, you know, child labor somewhere.
Right. Probably the headphones I'm using are terrible too, you know? So, great entertainment, Albert. We're really helping the people forget whatever they're trying to procrastinate from right now. Good job. Getting existential on question 2, but which pets are good with kids? I think we've been talking a lot about responsibility, and you said something earlier. You got to keep an adult involved. One of the things I think my parents would wanted me to walk the dog, and I did not walk the dog as much as I should have when I was 9-10 years old. And I just, you know, I'm not blaming my parents, but what I'm saying is, I guess you got to kind of like, I don't know, put a calendar on the refrigerator. I'm just spitballing here, but just something where you get a check mark. Maybe you get a reward if you walk the dog. Like, I don't know. You have to teach the child responsibility. Oh, yeah. You can't just, and so it's we're kind of replaying one of the questions we had in the previous week, but which pets are good with kids? I think the responsibility issue kind of comes in here too. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you have to have like the adult that teaches the kid. The kid has to have some pet experience, some animal experience, and then you can have a general idea if this kid is good with a pet. There's going to be some kids that are, and some kids that aren't, and some kids that want to have pets but aren't going to be good at it, and some kids that don't want pets but would be great at it. So it's like you have to allow the kids to choose. I think we mentioned that in the other episode too, that they have to volunteer for that type of responsibility. You can't just put a living thing in a kid's hands and say, you have to take care of this. They're never going to do it right. They're never going to do a good job. That pet's going to cause you more problems than it's worth. So you have to have the adult that has experience, teach the kid as much as possible, and hope that kid's on board. If the kid is not, either it's on you as the adult to take care of the pet or look for a new home for that pet. That's what I tell people. When people really, you know, they have trouble with the pet and the kids, obviously you should choose your kids. Choose your kids over the pet. Yeah. I don't think that's super debatable. People might be mad at me for that. Find another home for that pet. There's all these opportunities for us to post pets that need a home online. And if you put enough effort into it, you can rehome pets. We do it all the time.
On the other hand, you said there's a big uptick in that during COVID where families will get a pet for a little while. And then now that COVID's over, like, oh, we don't have time. And they give the pet back. Yeah. Like in an individual case, that's understandable, but massively, like it's become kind of an issue. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think like the shelters are always full to the brim.
Okay. So what's the
difference? Post-COVID, during COVID, there's always an issue. Always an issue. So spay and neuter your pets, you know, trap, neuter, and return. These are all ways to prevent that. But as far as acclimating your child to being around animals, I think start at a young age, introduce them to the horse, introduce them to the cow, bring them around pigs, take them to the zoo, take them to the petting zoo, bring them around your friends that have big dogs, little dogs, cats, whatever, chickens, and let them see all that. And if they're a kid, like I was a kid, the ones that really love animals will gravitate towards it. And then, you know, I went to school with a lot of people who love animals, and a lot of them don't work with animals anymore. That's just like those kids. Give them enough exposure, they're going to choose for themselves.
Well, you can reduce the fear of animals, I think, by taking away the fear of the unknown, you know?
For sure.